We were married on October the 6th, in 1991. When we got married, of course, I hoped for the perfect marriage, but it just didn't turn out that way. And it wasn't the marriage that I had hoped for. He broke my heart over and over again. Trammell and I had even left. We couldn't take it anymore. He wanted us to come back for Christmas to show us that he had changed, you know, that he had fallen in love with Christ and that he was a different man. The day before Christmas Eve, David was in the den and he said, "Come here a minute." And he reached in his pocket and he pulled out this little box. And it had this ring in it that he had made for me, and it was a cross. And he gave it to me and he said, "I want you and Trammell to know that for the rest of my life, I'm going to be the husband that you deserve and the father that he deserves." And it was like I fell in love with him all over again. All right, sweetie, are you ready to eat anything? No? Okay. Go ahead and color on your picture, okay? I'll be right back, okay? Christmas morning, 2006, at 2:30 in the morning, I woke up and my husband was in cardiac arrest. Of course, I didn't know what was happening at the time. I just sat straight up in the bed and I looked over at him and his eyes were wide open and his mouth was wide open and his whole body was trembling. By the time they got him to the hospital and on life support, he had been down for an hour and 20 minutes. They didn't think he would survive, and which we call this our Christmas miracle because he did survive. And his doctor stood at the foot of his bed and said that this is God, this has nothing to do with us. After a month in the hospital, we brought him home literally as a newborn. And as I pulled into our driveway, which was about a mile down the road, he had no memory of our home. And so day by day, it was this thing of introducing to him who I was and who our son was. And the sad thing too is his memory, it only lasts 15 minutes, if that long. So everything is erased every 15 minutes. Our life just absolutely turned upside down. It's okay. It's okay. You still got milk? Okay. Get your cover back up. Is that enough cover? You want your arms covered? All right. You want me to turn the light off? You want the overhead light off, sweetie? Yeah. Okay. I'll go put your cookies up, okay? We thought that was the end of our nightmare. On February the 3rd of '08, Trammell was paralyzed from the waist down. They diagnosed him with acute transverse myelitis, a rare virus that strikes 1 in a million. They don't know how you get it. There's no cure. They were teaching him how to live in a wheelchair. And I kept saying, "No, we're praying for quick recovery." And they're like, "Yeah, that's nice, but in reality, you know, da-da-da, you know." And do you know, by the time we walked, and I say walked, out of that hospital, Trammell made hospital history, being the first transverse myelitis patient to be able to stand up and walk through the doors of that hospital.
I worry about my mom and all the stress she's under, having to just deal with everything and taking care of my dad, and it's hard on her.
It's literally like I've been awake for 7 years because you're constantly caring. Check David's diaper every 30 minutes. So that's all day long. And at night, every other hour. So there is no time off. He drinks from the baby bottle. He plays with toys. So many times in my life, I knew caregivers. I knew they were taking care of somebody, but I had no clue of what they were living through. I'm not going to say no thanks to this life because I believe that God put us in this situation to help others. It's those few days that we spent, you know, falling back in love, that I believe that God gave me that so I'll be able to do this. This is David and Trammell when Trammell was little. David was eating an apple, so he put it in his mouth, and that's Trammell wanting a bite of the apple. It was so cute. Look at that look on Trammell's face. One lady that always tried to talk me into just divorcing him, putting him in a home, because that's what she did. You know, that was the best way for her. This is life, you know. You don't run away from what life gives you. You embrace it, and you use it for training. And you know that God has a purpose for everything. And I know that there's other families out there, and I know there's other spouses out there that just want to give up, you know, that they can't take this. And I want to be there to help them and to let them know that, yeah, through God's grace, you can do this. You can hang on and take care of your spouse. The grace of God can carry you through anything. If He can carry us through all this, He can carry you through anything.